All right, I'm at your door and opening it now. And I'm seeing a lot of blue, these light blue type of colors, but also energies. So there's definitely a coolness. There's a tempering that I feel that your soul is constantly working on within your body. So if I ever say they, I'm talking about your soul and your higher self because I translate through your higher self. Um, so there is, yeah, I feel so like kind of jittery, action oriented, but a sense of also tempering. And that tempering is definitely something that already naturally happens for you. And so you can obviously co-create by finding ways to relax. Like you're talking about first thing in the morning, you do your meditations or you take a walk. Um, Things like that. I also hear if there's a way to remember to meditate at the end of the day as well to temper the energy of the day. And if you're not able to meditate, it's like if there's so much going on and it's hard to be in that space, journal. Just write out what happened during the day and get it out of your mind before you go to sleep. All right. Okay, so I'm just seeing where they're going to take me right now. Hmm. So already taking me to this park bench. And when I see the park bench in anyone's reading, it's a lot about interpersonal relationships, spirits of other people, whether alive or passed on, can come visit you at that spot specifically, but they don't stay. Of course, they go back to where they're come from. So I'm seeing who is approaching you. I'm feeling a very masculine energy, tall and strong, very strong person, kind of dark eyes, dark hair. I'm not sure if you recognize someone like that in your life or has already passed. But they're sitting down next to you and grabbing your hands and just holding your hands. And he's saying, you always feel like you have to be super strong, that you have to use your strength every single day. And if you don't, then things might fall apart or or you feel more tired at the end of the day. Also, or all sorts of things that can happen when you feel like you have to use your strength all the time. And he's saying that's part of the depletion you're feeling. So he wants you to be okay with delegating. And I know a lot about your job is delegating, but I kind of feel this like little sense in the back of your head, like, well, I can do it too. I have the time or whatnot, but you are doing the right thing by delegating, and it's okay to delegate more because you do have authority in your position. You've been there for a while, and it's okay to just let yourself relax as often as you can. Because he's saying that your strength is definitely valuable. There's value in your strength, but the depletion is coming from trying to use your strength 24/7. Does that make sense at all?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And he's saying that that might be you can possibly label that as part of your self-care routine so that you're not feeling so energetically depleted by the end of the day. Um, and he also wants to remind you about the journaling. So that might come up a lot. Do you have the chance to journal much during the day?
Um, I've never been a fan of journaling. I have done it from time to time. be, well, I did do a lot of journaling, and then I was taught or took a class, was coached, and they said don't journal about certain things because that can continue to manifest in your life, kind of thing, that you should be journaling about other things. But
Mhm.
um, yeah.
Well, I feel like the
There's one
journaling,
other thing about the journaling.
yeah.
So I did keep a journal as a child or a teenager. I was encouraged to do that by a mentor. I did not get along well with my parents, and I ended up moving out really young, like at 15. And my parents had told me that I needed to come pack my things up. And when I did, my journals weren't there. And I asked my mom
Oh
where
no.
the journals were, and she pulled them out of her dresser, out of her bedroom, and handed them to me. And so I think that is why I don't really care to do it. And I'll do it from time to time, if
Hmm.
that makes sense.
That makes sense. That's kind of one of those childhood healing that you can work through. You can work through that with journaling or even video journaling. If you don't feel like writing anything, you can just talk to a recording device or video yourself that no one needs to see. It's what it is specifically is just getting this stuff out of your mind so you can journal about your childhood experiences if you feel comfortable about. But the main purpose is to just journal about your day, like XYZ happened during the day. This is how I felt about it, and then put it away. And that's it. When you do that, all it is just releasing the energy from yourself, and it's not going to manifest something else unless you put the energy into the thought of, oh my God, if I read back on this, it's going to happen again. That's really about the energetic connection to it, and it's not just like a one time connection. This is more like an obsession, obsessing over something. Because I feel
Right.
like since you're an energy worker, you have a lot of protect as well as someone who helps people in their traumatic times. You already know how to create energetic boundaries for yourself. So I don't think manifesting the bad things is really going to be an issue, at least not anymore.
I
Um,
understand.
yeah, yeah. So it's more about the healing process and getting the energy out of you. Um,
That makes sense.
yeah. Okay, this man has stood up and walked away already. And there are like two other people in front of me. They kind of look like twins, actually. Both female. Actually, one's masculine, but or a male with very feminine energy around him. So I don't know if you know any twins, or these could actually just be spirit guides you have
Hmm.
that's been following you for many, many lifetimes. And they're coming forward. This is where the past life stuff I was already feeling. Um, they're coming forward to let you know that this is not the first lifetime that you felt really called to be a part of people's journeys in their hardest times, as well as find ways to heal them. And not just physically, but also mentally, being that comfort for them. They're bringing me to a time, I definitely like, it's almost like you were a nurse or a medic during wars. I'm talking like the Crusades, that
Okay.
far back, that you've been doing this over and over for a long time, and that's part of your soul's purpose, is because you have the internal strength to deal with with crisis. Um, and so they're saying if you want to, this could be your last life where you need to do that. And it's all about the intention. Like later on, when you're ready to retire, you look back on how life has unfolded for you, and you can just, pray to your guides, let them know, okay, I did this. I feel good because I did all of this, and I'm ready to try a different route, work through another purpose.
Can I just not come back? Can I just be done?
Um, yeah, there's an option for that too. Um, but they're saying you probably will. Like after your transition and you go through your like recollection stage, um, they're saying like they're kind of showing me, they're not taking me there, but they're just kind of showing me another corner of your Akashic records. They're like, oh yeah, if she wants to come back as a house cat, here it is. This is what it'll look like. She's going to be pampered. She's going to have all the treats she wants. Um, because she did so much work for other people that these other lifetimes, people will be doing stuff for you because you deserve that. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, so you may actually decide to come back in a peaceful time, and I'm actually seeing a different planet. You may want to come. I hear Palladians. So I don't know if you believe in aliens or anything like that.
Yes,
This is just part of your path. You may have felt like, in a way, you don't belong on Earth.
yes, yes.
Um, and that's not because you haven't been here multiple times. It's because your soul and your spirit's already like, well, we're pretty much complete with Earth. You've done a lot. You've actually volunteered to come here many, many times. And now your spirit's like, okay, you already experienced that. You wanted to come back and experience it one last time to learn these lessons around I feel like self-care has been one of your big lessons over the last 10 years, maybe a full decade, and you're just starting to come into a new cycle where the way you care for yourself and others is being highlighted. Um, and so I'm hearing from the female twin that it's safe to kind of go back to your childhood and see how that relates to now. And that is part of your karmic clearing for this lifetime. And she's saying it's okay if you don't do it now. If you want to do it later on, it doesn't matter when and how you work through some of that childhood experiences. You just won't have to do it again here on Earth. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
That is very cool. Anyway, they're like, you kind of got off topic. We're still in the Crusades. Yes, ma'am. um, okay. So I'm seeing that you're actually work with some of the generals, more of the higher rank. They prefer to have you around. You are male at that time. Um, because you are very, very talented with the healing work that you're able to do in those really chaotic times. So there's a sense of definitely coming back to that sense of authority. You know what you're doing. You've been here before. You have the experience, and these generals, these higher up level people, you're able to communicate with, kind of be able to talk to them at their level. And so what they're saying is, whatever you want to do next it can actually come easy. to you. Just fill out the paperwork um, or talk with your contacts, and you'll be able to go where you want to go, do the things you want to do. And that's because you've already, way, way back then, have already made a contract, like a soul contract within each lifetime, that you'll be able to easily connect with kind of higher level people, people with influence. And so I'm sure that's something you've already recognized, but that just makes all this stuff easier for you to move through your lifetime, being able to access people like that versus feeling like you constantly have to climb this like super steep ladder. Yes, we all have to climb a ladder. That there's no doubt about that, because we all have our soul progression we do within a lifetime. But in this case, you're not starting down here, you're kind of starting mid-level and then going up. And that's because you've had a soul contract with the energy of people in higher ranks and higher authority, which has really been beneficial for you. And that's another reason why you don't need to do this anymore, because your soul contract is at the end. It's like it has kind of an expiration date, I suppose, and this lifetime is the expiration date, or that'll be the expiration. So that's a nice message that
That is.
hopefully that comforts you a little bit, like, okay, all right, I see how this lifetime is just kind of that final push, the final push of a marathon, and then you're done. You're gonna
Yeah.
run through the finish line and reap the rewards. Um, Even later on, I feel like within this lifetime, you're gonna start feeling more rewarded, more blessed, recognized for your skills, your work in all the fields you work in, including your energy self or your
That's
energy work.
awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So that's beautiful. Seeing if the twins have anything else to speak about before moving on. Um, hmm. This masculine twin, um, he how do I say this? He's kind of talking fast. So it's kind of like slow it down. So that makes me feel like he's connecting to your daily energy of like, okay, I have XYZ and ABC and 1, 2, 3 to all get done in 6 hours, whether that's your actual time frame or not. But he connects to that fast-paced energy of having a lot to do. And he wants you to know that he's there with you all the time, even though you constantly may feel a sense of urgency or feel like there's a lot piled onto your plate. He's letting you know that he is working to help you out on the other side of the veil, to kind of orchestrate having it feel more organized, even though it's organized chaos. He's over there helping with that masculine energy of organizing, of planning, of making sure things do get done. But he's also wants to remind you that if there is ever a time you feel like you need to delegate energy, to call him in it. And I'm asking
That
for his
makes
name.
so much sense.
Oh, good, good. I'm asking for his name so it's easier for you to call him in. Um, I'm, uh, uh, he's such an unusual character. He even has an usual name. It's like, uh, Jacoba Aya, uh, Niwa or something. I'm not sure. It's a really long, long name. So he asks you to just call him Jacob. And when you call him in, speak with Jacob. Say, Jacob, all right, it's time to come in. I need to delegate this energy to you. And he's right on top of it. And that is also part of your self-care. So it's interesting that they're giving you ideas for self-care that are pretty easy to do. You can do anytime during the day. Um, but they still emphasize the journaling. There it is again. They are, yeah, they're pretty serious about it. They're like, just get it out of your head so your sleep at night will be more restful and deep.
That makes sense.
Okay. Um, all right. So now it's time to move on to another place. Um, Kind of look like I'm being put on this highway, but it's not full of cars or anything like that. Nothing automated. Um, but it makes me feel like there's a sense of future waiting for you. That there you're kind of like a mid-level soul. Like you're not quite an old soul. You're not a young soul. You're like right in the middle within this lifetime. And so, what it feels like with this kind of highway is like, yeah, you are moving into that kind of a sense of an older soul. You have so much wisdom already, but the energy you carry is a little bit younger. But they're saying, later on, you'll start feeling the wisdom more, tapping into the wisdom more than you have in other lifetimes. And that's part of clearing the karma and finishing out that soul contract. It's kind of like a sense of the student becoming the teacher. So it's that energy. And that's why you're just walking along this highway. It's like every milepost is a new insight, new epiphanies that you're bringing into your own consciousness as wisdom you share with many, many people. Um, okay. They're having me kind of stop at this like viewpoint, not actually getting off the highway, but like a viewpoint of I don't know. Have you ever been to Crater Lake? It's um it's that volcano down in southern Oregon that blew its top, I want to say like 10 to 20,000 years ago, and now a lake is where the caldera is.
I have not been to Oregon.
Okay. If you ever get a chance to come to Oregon, definitely check out Crater Lake. It is gorgeous. It's a natural phenomenon, basically. But
Sounds
it's,
cool.
yeah, yeah, you can look it up online, Google Crater Lake and you can see some photos. Anyway, it's not specifically Crater Lake I'm looking at. That's just kind of what it feels like, or it looks like, but not feels like. It doesn't have the physical history.
Mhm.
And so um that story, the whole thing, like this big huge mountain just completely erupted and then caved in. I'm seeing that has happened several times in multiple lifetimes where you've gotten so big, so much going on that there was actually kind of an implosion, and you caved in and became this very beautiful, beautiful caldera. Lots of water energy. I see like kind of a campfire in the middle of it. It's almost like an island with a whole fire going on. So that's bringing me back to the concept of tempering. Like you've already dealt with so many times where you've been so expressive in its own way that it finally just like release. I don't need to express that anymore. You know, basically a sense of, you know what that sounds like? Not my problem. So if you
Hmm.
haven't got there yet, you will get there where the sense of your emotional boundaries are going to become more stabilized. Even though you feel everything, that fiery energy is still in you. You feel it all, you experience it all, but there's a tempering there where you can see the wisdom of what you're experiencing more and more. And I feel like you've already tapped into that. Um,
Hmm.
it's just going to keep getting more solidified and more stabilized within your energetic body, especially you mentioned something about wanting to work with firefighters. Um,
I am one,
you are one.
but
Okay.
but I started in wildland, and I want to go back to that.
Hmm.
Right now I'm in urban.
Okay. Yeah. The going back to the forests and working in that arena is actually kind of where that sense of tempering is going to really set into your body because nature, of course, is so important to you already
Mm-hmm.
and coming back to that. So I'm really excited for you, actually. That seems such the perfect job for you. And I'm glad you're moving back to that space. I'm seeing what else around this mountain is important. Um, I'm seeing a lot of animals. So I'm not I feel like there's going to be something around animals when you are back into the forestry areas that you may actually find yourself caretaking for injured animals a lot
Mm.
too. You know, it's like it's kind of one of these transitional purposes, transitioning you out of um, taking care of the traumas and crises for humans over a lifetime. There's this transitional aspect of moving in, combining the animals and the humans. Um, and because if you do decide to come back, reincarnate, you may come back as animals. And so it's like connecting to that energy now will help you make that decision in the spirit realm later on. Um, I'm seeing kind of bigger animals too. So that's probably why the bunny came in for my spirit guide is there's that sense of observation and is there a fight or flight or freeze mode that I need to tap into, and then I see my spirit guide, the animal guide kind of hopping forward and approaching deer, approaching bear cubs, and approaching mountain lions with ease and grace, with still being aware, know that they're wild animals, but they're also wild animals asking for help. Um,
Hmm.
so definitely give help for those animals when you can. I'm actually getting a little choked up here. Um, this is the first time I've ever run into a reading where there's already a sense of a transition into your next purpose. And so that's a beautiful opportunity that you get. And I don't feel like it's going to happen right out of the gate, but maybe later on in the summer or next year is when you're going to start experiencing this transition with the animals. You're still going to help the humans because you're incredibly skilled in that sense. Yeah, I'm just tapping back into the water myself to kind of temper the energy for
Hmm.
myself because I realize I'm feeling wiggly. like I'm like, let's go, let's bounce around and do this, do that. We got to go to this next place. We got to see this. And it's like, wait. We're only doing so much today. uh, okay. Moving along this highway again. There's lots of people in different areas of your soul connections. So you are always meant to be around people or entities, a very socialized soul. And at times you're like, nope, nope, blanket over the head. And that's kind of some self-care. Even during the daytime, when you're at work or whatnot on your breaks, um, I know it sounds funny, but you may want to bring a blanket with you. And during your breaks, just have the blanket over you while you're having your lunch or playing on your phone or whatnot. It kind of puts you in your own space and shuts out other stuff. And of course, people, if they need you, they can talk to you through a blanket, but they might think you're a little odd at first.
Oh, that's
But
funny.
um, but yeah, that's another form of self-care you might want to do, even though it's it's unusual. Um, but you do have an unusual life. So, embrace it. Embrace the awkward, basically.
Uh,
Okay. Um, they're bringing me to this space. Kind of looks like a carnival in a way. Um, a lot of entertainment in this space. Um, Lots of things to do, lots of things to experience, and it's like kind of like a happy place in its own way. I'm definitely feeling kind of childlike energy around it. So, I mean, you'll know if this is like child experiences you've had within fairs or carnivals or stuff like that. But it's also giving me the reminder of playfulness because you have such a serious job. You really do. It's a lot going on, a lot of people, different personalities, and they want to remind you that adding playfulness um, is something for you to learn. Learning how to add that back in because you've had a pretty serious lifetime, a lot of seriousness energy around you. So, any kind of ways you can find to bring the playfulness back out, like singing out loud, dancing in front of the mirror, telling jokes, or if someone tells you a joke, feeling like it's easier to laugh, you don't have to like think through it, because sometimes we even overanalyze jokes. We're like, how does that work? I have my selenite wand with me today. Um, so it's just, finding ways to giggle, finding ways to appreciate the lighter times is definitely a reminder that your spirit is wanting to bring in because many, many lifetimes you haven't had the opportunity to be playful. Um, it was consistently a struggle in other lifetimes, consistently having to stay in that critical mindset. And now they're saying because you're in this transitory space where you're ending out soul contracts and then just kind of letting yourself flow until you're ready to maybe build some new soul contracts, that this transitional space for the rest of your life, you have the ability to bring that playfulness back in, the laughter back in, when you're moving your body, move your body with dance too. And even if you're not a good dancer, you can just sway back and forth, whatever feels right and good for you. Um, and also, maybe go to more comedy shows, I'm hearing. you know, Somewhere to help you, trigger the laughter. Um, Even if it's like open mics or actual, comedy, celebrity comedy shows, it doesn't matter. They're like, just go somewhere that you're going to laugh more. Um, because you haven't been able to do that. thus far. Now, when I look at your actual soul story itself, what has been written, you already know how to experience that because time is not real, right? We can
Mhm.
live different lifetimes at the same time. It's kind of mind-boggling, but we have human minds. We're not quite able to understand how that works. Um,
Mhm.
but they're also letting me know that the reason that they're showing me this carnival, this fair, this sense of you playfulness and lighthearted is they're saying you've already experienced that in other lifetimes in different realms, different timelines and dimensions. So it's not that you don't have that in you or it's hard to tap into. They want to remind you that you've already experienced that. So let yourself experience it in this embodiment. Um, and then you can decide if that's the life you want to live next round. Like, hey, I'm just going to be a comedian in my next life.
Funny. That
I'm
would be
going to,
hilarious.
yeah, keep it light, have fun, make money, being funny. So yeah, there's definitely a reminder that even though maybe something's like called a past life or a future reincarnation, it's actually already happened. So if you feel like, oh God, okay, I'm going through this challenge, I don't know how to get through this challenge, um, try and allow that conscious memory of, oh, I've already experienced this. So I know I already can do it. It's not that it's a challenge, it's more a challenge of remembering. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Okay, that's good. Good, good, good. Seeing what else they want to. I feel like I'm being lifted now and like kind of like a hot air balloon, but not maybe a cloud or um nothing we have here on Earth. So this is taking me to another planet, another planetary life you've lived. And on this planet, you are not involved in war. You're not involved in any crisis situations. However, um, free will is different on this planet. So here on Earth, free will is free will. It is whatever you imagine, whatever you say, whatever goes, everything goes, kind of free will. On this planet, there is a sense of free will where, you can say and do what you want, but there's still constructs and rules around it. Like the universal laws are more in play and more consciously aware on this planet. And so manifesting in this space has been a lot easier for you. And so that's another thing for you to remember is if you're ever like, oh, I want to manifest this, remember, you've already done it. You've already experienced how to manifest what you want. And so it's possible here. Just that co creation process, asking, you can ask Jacob to help delegate some of these manifestation processes you want to work with. Um, and so on this planet, things that you were manifesting was a lot around interpersonal relationships. So your purpose in that life was around you're having multiple husbands and learning how to deal with the different characteristics, their different personalities. So so on that planet, it didn't matter. If you're male, female, you were female at that time. Um, there wasn't a sense of monogamy, is how it works. Everyone had multiple partners because this planet is a lot about learning how to deal with interpersonal relationships. Um, God, you've had a lot of people around you, always. And so, man, okay. Um, I don't know how to say this without getting kicked off of YouTube. Give me a sec. There's a lot of intimate um, relationships on that planet. So there was a lot of like not wearing clothes a lot. No one really wore clothes, and if you had a fantasy, you know which husband to pick, you know. So, you had a job, you have a day job and stuff like that, but the rest of it was really about allowing your passions to step forward, allowing the funness of and not being scared of acting out certain fantasies. Um, yeah, I'm trying not to be too explicit, but they're giving me something.
Oh dear.
Okay, I'm almost getting embarrassed. Give me a second. But it's fun. It's another form of fun. Um, and so I feel like this is coming up because they want to remind you that you are feminine. You have this beautiful sensuality about you. And part of being playful is tapping into that feminine sensuality, feeling like you are attractive again to even your own husband, and feeling like you're more attracted to him. Um, and bringing that sensuality back in, whether it's in the physical plane or not, but at least the playfulness, the flirting, the maybe specifically designing time in your schedule to go on dates. Things like that are kind of coming back into play as a reminder that you've already done all this cool stuff. You've already acted out your passions and your fantasies. So now if you feel like you're tapping into some of that, um, just speak to your husband, have these conversations with him, and I guarantee you he's got some stuff on his mind too. So yeah, if the two of you can, oh, was that an animal? Did
Oh
I?
no, I was just
Oh, that your hand. Sorry, it's kind of shadowy, but that's fine. um Yeah, so that's another form of playfulness you can tap into is just your own sensuality. And I think that's why I got that message of dancing, of just dancing around and enjoying moving your body in a different way than you would every day, where you're like walking, running, using your hands for something, picking stuff up, all that jazz. Um, let that sensuality soak back in, that softness there that you can share with your husband, and I do believe he'll really respond to it too. There's kind of an excitement around that as well. Um, I'm hearing that's it for today. We'll just leave her on that note. I'm just like,
good Lord.
okay, okay. So, yeah, that's a kind of a cool message, honestly. Um, I don't get that too much. I think I've only had something similar with someone else, and it's a good reminder for all of us, honestly, because we get so wrapped up in life. We get so wrapped up in our feelings because of things that have been happening all day. Um, we get so wrapped up in the seriousness of being a human that as we get older, that sense of sensuality just kind of dissipates. And it's a good reminder to, especially for us older women, um, to allow that to simmer in our bodies and allow the passion to come through when the chance arises.
Hmm.
So that's kind of a cool message, very um very woman oriented. So the women out there, as a good reminder for all of us, as well as men. Men do have that dissipation too because of the seriousness of life, the adrenal fatigue and
It's okay. I was always told to keep my mouth shut, as a kid and stuff like this. So
Mm,
it could just be me.
I see. Okay, so I was clearing some energy for you. Um, so I guess that's part of a healing process right there is um kind of clearing that energy of my own throat chakra as well as yours because we are very connected right now. Um, and I think coming back to the journaling again, that's going to help the throat chakra energy as well. Um, for myself, what I've been doing is started writing a book. Um, and it's, I don't know if I'll ever publish it, but it's something that getting my story out on paper has been pretty cathartic. Um, it lets me see my life from that higher perspective, that lens of wisdom, you know. And it's the same thing with journaling your day. It's like being able to journal it out and speak to it from that higher perspective, um, that greater wisdom. And you already know that as an energy worker, tapping into that. Um, so that's even though it feels heavy and serious, it's actually a beautiful thing. And you'll see if you can challenge yourself to journal every day for 2 weeks, um,
Okay.
you're actually going to feel an energetic difference. And then after that, you have the choice of whether you want to continue to journal or pick it up, but give yourself 2 week intervals of
Okay.
journaling every day. So try and challenge yourself to do that, and you'll notice a difference. You really will.
Okay.
All right. Okay, yeah, they're moving me towards the door, but they're not having me come back um through the highway. It's almost like I'm in this like pneumatic tube. Coming sense back to that sense of speed, of quickness, but also not chaotic. There's a flow to it. Even though I'm going fast, there's still this flow of like I'm not going to lose track of anything. I'm not going to fall off a path. My path has already been laid out in front of me, and maybe I pause and check out a lookout for a little bit, but I've never got off my path. So if that's something you've questioned for yourself, just know that you don't have to question that anymore. Because it's okay to pause and look out into the yonder, but that doesn't mean you've gotten distracted or taken a side road. All right, I'm back at your door, and Archangel Metatron is there, and he's waving at you. Um, and the twins are there too. They're um kind of like ushers. They're like, thank you for coming. Here's your program. Here's your they literally are handing me um it looks like that soul contract that I was talking about with the sense of being able to connect to people in higher levels. They want me to bring that forward with me or you. Sorry, it's for you. I'm like kind of got confused there for a second. Um, so the door's being closed and sealed right now, but the contract is it's being kind of like um, posted on your door, on the outside of the door, like, hey, here's this reminder that soon this will be expired and it can be taken off the door. It can be shredded. It can be recycled, whatever feels right. Um, but it's just a reminder that you have been on this really incredible path in the human realm. Um, and there's a lot of gratitude around it that you are a soul that has had the strength and the know-how um, to move through these lifetimes of incredible heaviness, incredible danger, um, and crisis and trauma, and being able to keep a cool head and help yourself and others at the same time. So yeah, that's a really beautiful thing. Um, and it's almost done. It's almost done. Once you retire, that sheet, that contract will be null and void anymore. And you've done it, and you can congratulate yourself. Throw yourself a big party. When you retire, throw yourself a big party. Invite as many people as you can and just enjoy it. And try to remember about the soul contract that it's not just the party of retirement, it's the party of completing um, one of your soul's purpose, which is pretty freaking big.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it for today. Um, those are some pretty big messages. I hope that helps in various aspects of life. And I just want to say thank you very,
Thank
very
you.
much
That was
for,
extremely profound. Thank you.
oh, good. Oh, good. I'm glad.
Resonated on a level that you don't even know. Like, yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, it's not me. I'm just a conduit. I'm just
yeah.
yeah, just letting the information flow through me, and um I'm very glad you got what you needed for today. And of course, I'm always available for follow-up. So if you have questions, or if you have your own insights and you want to share, please, anytime, feel free to message me and let me know how you're doing and whatnot.
Yeah, I definitely do want to follow up. Like,